All right, just another quick one here, everybody. Looking at some of the things I said earlier, so I just wanted to touch on some things. I think we can use technology to better our lives, to fight crime, to make it harder for criminals to exist in that way of life, and thus they won't be attracted to it as much, and thus we won't have to be putting people in prisons and stuff. They'll find the effort for their criminal activity just isn't worth it. So, technology. I want KITT. Remember KITT from Knight Rider? I want the next generation cop car that can scan, on its own. The cop he can't profile, this thing just scans on its own. All new cars will have to have a chip in it, and all it's going to have is an identification number. It's not going to say who it's to or anything like that. All it's going to do is, if that number on that car, the cop doesn't have to spend his time reading plates and stuff. If that chip in that car is one that was at a location where there was a crime committed, it's going to alert the officer. And then maybe, he can pull him over, or even as far as people go, if he he's driving past a crowd of people or something, he gets a hit that there's a cell phone that was at a location where there was a crime committed, he can maybe have a little handheld thing, because he doesn't know who's who and whose cell phone. He's at the mall or something. Turns it on, it can direct him towards the person, whatever, like that. He can say, and once you get a hit, once you get a blip, that, maybe he can have a warrant or something printed out right there in the car. This is to question somebody. It's not to arrest them. It's to question them and see if they in fact were at that location, whatever. And so then, that'll cut down a lot of profiling, a lot of going around and trying to match descriptions and stuff. They will have something else to fall back on. They're like, look, I'm not going by your race. I have no idea what your race is. I'm going by this number. Had no idea what your race was until I got here. I'm just going by this number. That's it. There was a number. Whether it's from your car or from your cell phone, that vehicle and that phone, one or the other, or maybe both, were at this location or nearby, and I just want to ask if you've seen anything. That cuts down on the profiling, doesn't it? The cop ain't even going to have any idea if the suspect, or people of interest, unless there's, video cameras there too. He's not going to have any idea of the race of the person. All he's going to have is that number. I got a hit on that number. Hey, and then he can have that device can also have a thing, if they say, like if it leads it to him or whatever, and they say, well, no, you got the wrong person. I don't have that number on. That's, you can't, it's not my phone or whatever. His device can send a thing to that cell phone and make it beep or something. Whether it's on or off, it can make it beep, and it can say, no, that's the correct phone. Where were you? Were you over here? Whatever. In all cars, you'll have the thumbprint thing. Make it harder for thieves to steal your car. Driver's licenses all have thumbprints, and that'll help with crime scenes also. Which necessarily, if your thumbprint, it's a public place, of course your print could be there, so it's not going to automatically convict you. They'll have an idea, hey, this might be somebody who saw something, whatever, or it might be the perpetrator, whatever. And also, that'll cut identity theft. And also, you're not going to have to go to motor vehicle every 4 years. Before 9/11, some states like Arizona were making it, uh, 10, 20 years, you could have your license. And then after 9/11, the Fed came in and said, no, you can't do that no more. We need to have pictures. And that's the only reason they make you up, because once you learn to drive, you're not forgetting how to drive. The only reason you have to go back and renew your license every so often is to put a fresh picture on it. Well, now you don't have to put a fresh picture. The officer will have a fingerprint scanner. He asks for your license or whatever. It's not going to matter if you've aged 10 years and you don't look like the photo that was in your license. Sure, if you want to update your license, a new photo, you can go back and get one. But otherwise, you don't need to. Cut down on all that work at motor vehicle and the lines and having to deal with that crap. Your license will have a chip. It'll have your thumbprint. All he's got to do is have you put your finger on a scanner, take your license, put it in a thing like you do a debit card, have it scan that thumbprint and compare the two. You're who you say you are. That's it. No need to have to go and update the license all the time. That and plus they want to know your address all the time and everything. So, which isn't really something necessary for them to have all the time. And even that can be electronically encoded into the license. Why do you have to go back all the time? Every time you change address, get a new photograph, get a new license with the address printed on it and everything. That can be all electronic data also. You can update it from home or on your phone. Go in, update your address. And like I said, we'll get better technology and make it harder for hackers and all this and everything. We'll have things encrypted better, and we'll have tougher penalties for people who do identity theft and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm all for the death penalty for that. I'm sorry. People say, well, no one's getting hurt, whatever. Bull. You ruin people's lives with that stuff. You don't know how difficult you make everything for them. I'm about making things simpler. Simpler for the average citizen. We'll reform the tax codes and how income taxes are done. Maybe you don't even have to file, just whatever. We'll set a percentage. We'll write it in stone, like in the Constitution. These are the amounts, because, like I said, money's like, blood. It's got to circulate through a system and everything. So there's a zillion ways. You raise taxes on corporations here and stuff and everything. Well, they still want to keep their profit margins and everything. So, they raise prices or whatever to keep their margins. And so you end up paying it anyway. You cut taxes over here, but then they come around and they put another tax in back over here, and you're paying more anyway. We're going to cut all that stuff. We're going to cut it out. We're going to say we're going to get together. We're going to crunch numbers. We're going to say this is what it is, how much money you make and all this, and we'll review it. We'll figure out how many years, because you do have inflation and all these things and stuff. And maybe every 10 years they sit down and decide, hey, we need to raise this by 1%. And any raises or deductions at that point will be done across the board. There'll be none of this, well, we're going to cut taxes for these rich people and not for the middle class or the poor, whatever. If it can go up or down, it's for everybody. All your payroll and everything, auto deposit. We'll get to where all bills are paid automatically, which is a lot easier, and you'll have funds and like your Social Security and all that kind of stuff. All these funds and stuff will be like lock boxes, and you get what you pay into them. You have a lot of people now. who pass away before they ever collect what they've paid into those. So you're going to be able to leave those funds to your family. You're going to have a will. Everyone will have a will. What do you want done with your Social Security funds? Yada, yada. What do you want done, out of your medical fund? All that type of stuff. And we're going to sit down and figure all this stuff out. What's fair for everybody. I'm definitely for getting rid of sales tax because the majority of the population, the poor, the middle class, you're the ones paying all the sales taxes. And I don't think it's fair. The federal government takes your money, then the state takes your money. All right, you paid on your income, right? Well, now we're going to pay you. Now you're going to pay on what you spend. Well, wait a minute. How's that fair? Because they all got the loopholes and stuff, and that little bit in sales tax to somebody who's a millionaire isn't bothering him, but to the average working person, if you ever sit down and look, you go to McDonald's here, you go to the grocery store, you go whatever you grab anywhere, any services or any goods, anything you pay, in the course of a year, that adds up. That adds up to be a lot. So we'll do what we can to alleviate poverty and give people advantages. We'll look at minimum wage, reasonable minimum wages, and I'm thinking, the hours, the 40 hours, and then overtime stuff, and everything. Like drivers out here, there's no such thing as, for local drivers, regional, that are paid hourly, they can get overtime. But out here, if you're owner operator and stuff, you're working off a rate, whatever the going rate per mile is for a load going to a certain city. It's a supply and demand, free market type deal. Company drivers will get paid, 50 cents a mile, 45 cents a mile, whatever it is. A lot more than that. I started driving 30 years ago. It was like 20 cents a mile. And for starting drivers, worked up. The average, back then for somebody with some experience was like 24, 25. So driver salaries have about doubled. Cost of living and homes and everything have tripled. So anyhow, excuse me, we'll sit down, we'll crunch numbers, we'll go over things, we'll look at, hey, what can we do that makes life less stressful for the average American citizen? We'll do everything we can. Like, you know what ticks me off? Here's one thing ticks me off. And the post office is always struggling to make money. Well, all these grocery stores and these chains and all these businesses and stuff, fast food places, you get them flyers with the coupons and everything in the mail. All right, I don't want all that junk. I asked them, and especially because I'm not home. So if my mail's in my box too long, they take it out, take it back to the post office, sits there for a little bit, and whatever they can't send back, it goes in the trash, basically. So I asked the mailman, hey man, what can I do to get this stuff stop filling up my box? Because I don't have that many bills or anything like that. I mean, you'd have a whole lot of room in here if you weren't trying to put all this stuff in my box. I wouldn't miss anything. I've missed letters from the IRS and stuff and all kinds of stuff. I wouldn't miss any of that stuff because, you'd have plenty of room to leave my mail in the box. Said, there's nothing you can do. I said, what do you mean? Got to be something I can do. They got, don't we have that no solicitation thing that, whatever, what was it? For the phone calls and stuff? There's got to be a, what was that law called? Anyway, it don't work. I get I don't know how many phony calls tell me, hey, the warranty's up on your truck and this and that, and hey, we've been trying to reach you. And one keeps calling me Harry. Hey Harry, are you interested in CBD? Is it CBD, CPD, whatever the hell it is? You want some of this oil? It's like, my name ain't Harry, I don't want your stuff. You know, I had one, they kept telling me, Harry, you know, for some maintenance deal on my vehicle and stuff. It's like, I keep telling you people, leave me the hell alone. But we'll do all these things to where, you know, and that's the thing. The post office, you know, gets paid for that by bulk. Them companies pay, you know, pennies per pound on what the post office is delivering for them, and what's it costing you? It's costing you 40 cents for a stamp. And if it's a card or something a little heavier, you better put 2 or 3 stamps on there to make sure the postage is paid. And, you know, they're paying pennies a pound, maybe pennies per ton, to have all that crap delivered across the country. Well, that weighs them trucks all down. It's a tremendous waste of fossil fuels. The heavier a truck is, the more fuel it burns. And I'm not talking just the little mail trucks too. That all those flyers and stuff got to come from somewhere, some central point, and that means they're going in a big truck. You know, so we'll make it to where we'll even have, you know, a direct website straight to the Oval Office. You can email and say, look, getting rid of this or making this some way, this is, I'll listen to your ideas. If we could do this, it would make life easier and better for American citizens. And I'll look at it and say, hey, I'll go to Congress. Hey, I don't care if you're getting paid by these lobbyists. The people say this is a bunch of pain in the ass. You know, if it's in one certain state, keep seeing a whole bunch of the same people from the same state saying something wrong in their state or something. Hey, governor, hey, senator from that state, guess what? They say it's too big of a pain in the ass to get a fishing license in your state. What's the problem? They say it's too big of a pain in the ass to get a, you know, whatever. What's the problem? Why are you making people jump through hoops? Why are you making people jump through hoops unnecessarily? Fill out all this stuff. Like me, myself, I had a problem. My child support, state of Arizona. I've always paid. And if it didn't come out of my settlement check through the company and go to the state, I paid her in cash, or if I had to pay her from the road through Western Union, whatever it was, even paid her extra money and stuff. I won't get into a bunch of stuff, but, you know, times I paid her bills, which, all right, I'll add to it because it always comes up. They want to know people's taxes and stuff. I'm behind on my taxes. I'm not going to blame it all on them because I was trying to look after my son. You know, her telling me, you know, she couldn't pay her bills, they were going to get kicked out, blah, 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 whatever it was. I paid. I was not behind anything. My son turned 18, graduated school, and according to the state law of Arizona, that's it. You're done. The same month your kid turns 18, the end of that month, if he's graduated school, which both happened in the same month, he's graduated school and turned 18. Well, he graduated the month previous, and then he turned 18. You know, hey, I'm done with child support. Shouldn't have to do a thing. Nope. Had to go through all this kind of stuff. And the clearinghouse, which I still got to find out, kept adding on, even though it was past my son's 18th birthday, kept adding, and child support, not the clearinghouse, child support, kept showing me in arrears, even though my kid had turned. I said, my kid's already turned 18. Why are you saying I'm behind? Oh, because, you know, we didn't get a thing from the court saying to stop child support. But the Arizona state law says this. Well, no, because there was some missed before. I said, no, I never missed nothing. You know, show me one complaint, anything, where you ever contacted me. Show me one complaint from her that says I ever missed a child support payment. There aren't any. I even have a letter from her from way back when I was paying her cash and it wasn't going through the state. She gave me a notarized letter saying I wasn't behind. So that takes care of all that. So I'm not behind anything. Well, our records show. I said, well, all you got to do is contact her. She'll tell you. No, we don't do it that way. you have to file all this paperwork and blah 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 blah. And until it goes through the court, every month we're gonna show you another. Well, it was weekly, so every week we're gonna show you're missing a payment. So basically, I was paying $600 a month in child support. So they kept tacking that on. I said, "How can you do that?" "Well, we want to make sure the judge looks at it." I said, "What? Make sure? What do you mean? You mean to make me look bad in front of the judge? Is that what you're saying? If you were a cop, or if I or a cop or something like that presented false evidence to a court to make somebody look bad, that'd be like planting evidence. That'd be fraudulent, deceiving the court. How do you get away with it?" "Well, we just do." So I wrote them out a check. I think it was $1,600, something like that. In the meantime, between the time I filed the paperwork and the time I was going to be able to go talk to the judge, check for $1,600, which goes through the clearinghouse. Which the clearinghouse, I'm assuming, is a private company that does this for the state because they take a percentage out of every child support payment. So it was a net sweet deal. So I still haven't got my $1,600 back. So I'm gonna have to find out how that works. Who I got to go through child support, file a bunch of more papers with the court. Do I get a lawyer and go to the clearinghouse? How's it work? I don't know. But whatever it is that we can simplify life, for the average American citizen, law-abiding citizen, the working man and woman. I'm sorry, I'm an older generation. So, working men and women, family people, or single parent. We're gonna work on that. So you have less crap that you have to deal with all the time. I mean, going to work and everything else is enough. Then to have to run these errands to take care of all kinds of crap that it's like, really? Why do I have to jump through all these hoops? It's kind of like Trump talks about regulations that companies and businesses have to go through. Why does the average citizen have to jump through hoops too? So, anyhow, we'll look at all that kind of stuff. Anything we can simplify and use technology to simplify, we're going to go that route. And what else was there? I wanted to say, I said I want the technology in the cop cars. I talked about tax code. Everyone will have a debit card, cashless society. It's hard for criminals to operate. If you find, like somebody, the crack dealer on the corner, he doesn't want no record or anything. What's he going to do? Is he going to get one of those POS things and hold it in his hand out there in the corner? You see some suspicious activity or whatever. Hey, this guy has all these debits going into his account. We'll make those POS things harder to get. It'll be legitimate businesses and stuff that have those. But anyhow, they don't want no record. People buying drugs don't want no record they bought drugs. So here you go. You're going down to the crack dealer around the corner. He's got one of those POS things. You got to use your debit card to get that crack or whatever. There's a record of who you got it from. There's a record of who bought it. If he ever gets busted, caught possession, something like that, guess what? Everybody he sold to, now they got them. They can go check them out, see what's going on, or vice versa. They find somebody who's bought it. All they got to do is look at his purchases, and they can find who they bought it from. So, I think taking cash out of society will make it harder for criminals to do business. What are they going to do? They break in your house and steal stuff. Or they can't take it to the pawn shop. Pawn shop's going to have to pay them in credits to their account. Can't give them cash no more. So what are they going to do? They're going to barter with the stuff? What? See what I'm saying? So lots of things like that. You know, all kind, just little minor, even like getting your dog a license. Why do you gotta get your dog a license so often? There was a time in the world, license for my animal. What the hell are you talking about? Yeah, and I know it's a different world, different time, and that's the thing too. With like the Constitution. Oh, gun rights. I am for the Second Amendment, but it says for the right of the people. So I have no problem saying, you go to buy a gun, you take your birth certificate, your ID, whatever, proves you're a United States citizen. First thing off, right there. This one will be touchy. I say, got to be 21. It's like anything else that, got to be 21 to buy a gun. Well, you can join the military at 18, blah, blah, blah. If you want to own a gun, I think the same thing with drinking laws. At least 21 every state. Well, I can be drafted at 18, or if I join the Army, or whatever, and stuff. Well, all right, we'll make it this way. 21 unless you're in the Army, unless you're in the military. That's your argument, ain't it? I could be drafted. Well, you want to drink beer and you're under the age of 21, join the Army. That way you don't have to worry about being drafted and you can have all the beer you want. That's what I look at it. For all that kind of stuff, at least 21. This 18 stuff, being able to go out and drink or become an exotic dancer or all that kind of stuff, pornography, all that stuff I'm assuming is 18. Might be 21, but everything raised to 21. Well, and if they use the argument, well, I could be drafted at 18 and have to go fight for my country or whatever. Well, you know what? If you're drafted, then all that stuff's lawful for you below the age of 21. But until you're drafted, that's what I was trying to say. Until you're drafted and asked to go serve your country, you can wait till you're 21. But if you're drafted and you're below 21, then you can have all the beer and go exotic dancing and all that kind of stuff, whatever. So I just think it's time for all the BS and semantics and all this kind of stuff. Cut through all that. Cut through all the things that cause people grief. Just daily life. Make life easier for them. You know, either those people that send them all the newspaper things are just going to have to cut it out, or they're going to have to, everyone's got internet now, so if you want their flyers in the mail, you have to sign up on their website to have those flyers sent to you. If you don't sign up, none of this resident such and such, here's your 8 pages of coupons from Burger King and Safeway and everything else. I don't want them. I do not want them. If I want them, I'll ask you for them. That's the way it's going to work. I don't get the same deal on my postage as these companies do. Ship millions of tons of that crap around the country. Sorry, don't want it. Post office will have to find more innovative ways. Instead of a 40-cent stamp, I'm just trying to mail something across town. I pay 40 cents, but then if somebody wants to mail something to Alaska from Phoenix, it only costs them 40 cents for a letter. No, raise that rate. And you're gonna have stuff like that. These people want to send you stuff in the mail all the time. These insurance companies about life insurance and stuff. They get those bulk rates and stuff wherever they're sent. No, sorry. You're mailing me that crap from New York or wherever. You're not getting off with that bulk rate. You're going to pay 80 cents to send it to me, and I'm only going to pay my 40 cents for in-state, whatever. That's, something like that. If it stays in the state, I pay 40 cents. If it goes out of state, I got to pay more. Something like that. But we'll work on all those kinds of things. And what else was there I want to talk about? Oh, every campaign has music. You know, everyone's got to have like these theme songs. Trump was playing What Satisfaction. I forget what Obama's was. Clinton had what was it, Fleetwood Mac. I don't know what George Bush had, but I'm not saying it's like will be my campaign's theme song, but I throw several out there. But bands usually don't like having it done, so I don't know why. But these are ones that would fit me. Styx, Blue Collar Man. Hank Williams Jr., Country Boy Can Survive. What else? I'll think of some more. I'm just trying to think, but mostly, it would be mostly older music. Trying to think, but maybe I'll think of some Foreigner song or Heart, Zeppelin, somewhere in there, something else to throw in there. But I think really Styx, Blue Collar Man would be right up there with the theme of my campaign, or like I said, uncampaign, my YouTube campaign. So if you want to rock out to something like that, some Heart, some Zeppelin, something like that, in support of the campaign, feel free to. And like I said, I don't want anybody's money or anything. Give to whatever charity you think is worthwhile, and we're gonna give them hell, give them a run for the money, make those politicians worry, and maybe make them stop all the crap and just pandering for votes and taking lobbyist money, and actually listen to the people and roll up their sleeves and get some work done. All right, wish you all the best out there. God bless. Adios.